Ancient Denisovan tooth reveals hidden secrets. Ancient humans were way different than what we look and behave like today. One of these extinct relatives of modern humans are the Denisovans, whose existence has been a mystery for scientists with practically no DNA evidence to show what these prehumans were really like. But the discovery of a long-lost tooth might just have all the answers we have been looking for. So, who were the Denisovans, and when did they roam the Earth? Compared to all other ancestors related to modern humans, the Denisovans are a relatively recent discovery. In fact, the first ever remains of the Denisovans were unearthed in 2008 with the discovery of a single finger bone. After a thorough DNA analysis was performed, scientists came to the conclusion that these humans belong to a separate lineage from the Neanderthals, who were often referred to as the earliest humans in the world. The genetic analysis, however, revealed that the Denisovans had a separated lineage. However, not much is known about them because no one has ever been able to determine their behavior or physical traits, since their bones are extremely scarce and hard to find. So while it's understood and agreed upon that the Denisovans definitely did exist in the world as archaic humans, the physical evidence to show what their lives were like just isn't there. All that we know of the Denisovans have been thanks to a couple of teeth, a few bone fragments, and a whole jawbone. Most of these discoveries have been made in Siberia and Tibet. But what's fascinating is that after the discovery of this infamous finger bone, scientists were able to discover that millions of people living in Asia, Oceania, and the Pacific Islands have traces of Denisovan DNA, showing that somehow these archaic humans managed to transport their genes across entire oceans. For years, scientists have questioned and tried to discover how the Denisovans lived, how far they traveled, and what they were like. All that they have managed to uncover was the fact that these humans separated from the Neanderthals around 400,000 years ago and moved towards Asia while their sister group was spread out across Europe. But a newly discovered piece of evidence might just prove to be the missing puzzle piece in this mystery. So, what is this fossil that holds the key to finding out what some of the earliest humans in the world were like? Well, it's a partial molar tooth that seems to date back more than 130,000 years ago. Discovered in the Cobra Cave in Laos, according to researchers, the tooth comes from a young girl who was part of this mysterious group and is one of the only pieces of evidence that proves their existence in Southeast Asia. Now, the Cobra Cave is extremely cramped, only having space for one person to stand inside, touching the walls and ceiling all at once. So discovering the tooth wasn't all that easy in these conditions. The cave's fossils are also encased in rock that's formed from a mixture of stony fragments, making it difficult to retrieve anything in one piece unless it's done with an extreme amount of precision. But even with all of that, the researchers were sure that the site would yield something useful, and as soon as the molar was discovered, they knew that it belonged to the hominin species, which refers to species that are directly related to humans, but not quite similar to the modern human. While the tooth might look like a small discovery, the reality is that you can actually tell a lot about a species from their dental records. In fact, when humans are involved in accidents, where the rest of their body parts become unidentifiable, doctors usually use dental records to determine their DNA and physical attributes. So it makes sense why all archaeologists in the world are so excited at the discovery of this fossil. With its shape, internal structure, chemistry, and wear patterns, this singular tooth can reveal how long the Denisovans lived to be, the kind of food they ate, and even the kind of climates that they lived in. The tooth shape is also going to help determine how close the Denisovans were to the Neanderthals. And what exactly made the two groups different from each other? What we already know is that this Denisovan molar is much more wrinkled on its surface than the molar of an average human. The tooth has a crest that's common within the teeth of the Neanderthals, but its overall shape is similar to the inner structure that was observed in the jaw fossil discovered in Tibet. So, how were the researchers able to determine that the tooth belongs to a child? Well, that's because the tooth lacked any strong roots, which suggests that it came from a child who somehow died before their adult teeth had a chance to form somewhere between the age of 3 and 8. But wait, did this child somehow get stuck in this cramped cave and died there? Well, no. Based on historical records, experts believe that the molar probably washed up in the cave along with other animal remains that have been uncovered from the site. As far as the DNA of the structure goes, the scientists are now looking into studying the genetic code of the fossil along with its amino acid building blocks to help them understand what the specimen was like. The reason why these researchers are more interested in the tooth's protein structure over its DNA is that proteins have a higher chance of surviving the region's hot climate, while DNA, being as delicate as it is, can essentially be altered, not retaining its entirely original form. In fact, it was through the protein structure that the researchers were able to determine that the tooth actually did come from an ancient human and not a primate. After this incredible discovery, researchers working on uncovering more Denisovan fossils are now planning to move further into Southeast Asia, since now we know that this group of hominins had a pretty strong hold here. Who knows, maybe we might discover some pretty big traces of the Denisovans right under our noses in the near future. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think these ancient humans were like? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. See you next time with something new. Until then, bye.